My beautiful creative creatures, we're back with Awakened because it's been a while, so we're gonna watch them. It's gonna be a long video. Hope you guys enjoy. Get some popcorn, get a snack, get a drink, and let's dive in. It's been a while, so I figured I'd catch you up on it. So let's get started.
We're good. Okay, so Awakened Body launched today, and the Awakened Challenge also launched today. Now, like I said, I want to be real clear. You do not need to be a part of the Awakened Body Challenge to participate in everything Awakened Body has to offer. But if you're up for a challenge and you want to be in the running for some amazing prizes, today is the last day to register. You can head over to www.awakenednation.com/body-challenge, register. You can shoot it to friends, family, like I said last time, strangers on the street. You don't have to be taking our amazing clinically proven product, Zenith, to participate in this. We want everybody to see that transformation. Our name is Awakened. We want to wake people up to how amazing their bodies are, and you can do that with or without Zenith, but always Zenith will help you give that extra little kick. So as you can see, we have some incredible prizes, including cash, a Bowflex treadmill. So make sure you register for the challenge, but you don't need to be registered for the challenge to participate in Awakened Body and the classes and the nourishment plan and everything like that. So now I just wanted to introduce you guys to Dr. Stephanie Rimka and Colin and Jane Watson. Between these three human beings, not only are they amazing, but they have just ridiculous amounts of knowledge. And on the last call, I went over their credentials, pretty intense, but I know between Colin and Janie, they have 30 plus years of experience in the mindset fitness industry and coaching. And then with Dr. Stephanie Rimka, man, if you guys don't know her, you will fall in love with her. She just speaks truth. Everything that comes out of this woman's mouth is truth bombs. And she actually is, she played a huge role in writing that nourishment plan. So if you guys are in love with that plan, make sure to give a huge shout out to Dr. Stephanie Rimka. Colin and Jane also played a huge role in that plan, and I'm really excited for you guys to get to know them a little bit more. So you are committed. If you're on this call, you obviously are committed to this transformation journey. And so a lot of the times I feel like you get in something and you're like, okay, where do I start? Now what? So we really wanted to boil it down for you into some really simple steps so that you can succeed in this transformation journey. A lot of you guys are already full in. I see you in the Z community and you're ready to go. Somebody made their omelet this morning with the 5 eggs, and she's like, you know what? I couldn't finish it, but I tried. And that's all we're looking for. You'll see as we start to discuss, the nourishment plan and everything, we don't expect you overnight to all of a sudden have all this under your belt. It's just progress, and it's progressing, and it's just doing the best you can. So here are the 11 steps we've come up with for success that really, if you're wanting to catapult this transformation journey into overdrive, here.
They make it seem like it's so easy. All that stuff just to be successful. But it's never a guarantee. We already know that. That's not a guarantee to ever be successful in these companies. You could fail, more likely, not get anybody underneath you, barely sell products. It's not a guarantee. It's not guaranteed success in any way. You have a higher chance of gambling, I believe, or even betting, or whatever it is, than this.
The 11 steps. So take a picture, take a screenshot, just focus on these steps for now. We're going to keep it super simple, and I love the number 11, so that's why it's 11. I think a lot of people do 10 steps, but here's 11 steps. We're going to go over these in depth in a little bit, but first is just take those before photos and measurements. Make sure you're a part of that Z community. Get those Awakened Body classes in your calendar. Choose an accountability partner for daily check-ins. Take your Zenith twice a day with affirmations. Print off your Awakened Body daily checklist. Print off that nourishment plan. Make sure you got paper and a lot of ink in your printer for that nourishment plan. It's like 29 pages of gold. And then make a plan to hydrate. And then week 1, we're just gonna focus on high protein breakfast and not eating after dinner. So let's start super simple. We're also gonna start considering the one thing that you'd like to release for the next 8 weeks. And we're gonna end with setting your intentions for your transformation journey. So we're gonna go through each one of these steps. And if you have any questions, pop them in the chat. Colin, Janie, Rimka, kind of if you could keep track of those questions if you see any that are really good. Let's answer some. I'm going to open up.
Let me make a suggestion.
Yeah.
If you have a question, put it in all caps so we can see it much faster. So if it's not a question, don't scream at us. But if it is, all caps it. All right? Appreciate it.
Screen, but type screen.
Yeah,
yes,
with love.
I love it. Okay, perfect. So let's start with those before photos and those measurements. At this point in time, I think it's pretty well known that the scale is a liar. So please do not base your transformation journey off of that number on the scale. Our clinically proven product Zenith actually raises adiponectin, and that is going to help you increase your muscle mass, and muscle weighs. So it has, I think it's like, that's what they say, it weighs more than fat. So make sure you take your before photos and your measurements and really just tune into that, to your body. Start to notice if your pants are feeling, those non-scale victories, if your pants are fitting a little bit better, if your muscles are looking a little bit more toned. That's why it's really important you take those before photos and measurements, and then we challenge you on a weekly basis for the next 8 weeks to check in, take another photo, take more measurements, because a lot of times you are with your body every day. And so you're like, oh, I don't think I see much of a change. But as you look at photos, you're like, oh my goodness. And as you look at measurements, you're like, oh my goodness. There's also some really awesome apps that you can use that can tell you all kinds of information about your body mass and all of that. So make sure you really do a great job of documenting your journey right from the start. Okay, and then I've hit on this a little bit, so I won't hit on it much, but make sure you're part of the Z Community Facebook page. This is where we're going to cheer you on. This is where you're going to walk with Colin and Janie, and we call it Play with C and J every Monday and Wednesday. It's live. It streams live in this Facebook community. So make sure that you are in this community, and if you're having, this community is to be authentic too. So if you're having a rough day and you're like, you know what, I just need someone to cheer me on to get to the end of this day and to work out, or to cheer me on to not eat after dinner, pop it in that Z community and watch the comments go crazy as you have a whole community that's there to support you in your journey. We also have some amazing Awakened Body classes, so make sure you get these in your calendar. I'm actually going to put up the calendar right now.
I feel like it's a tad damaging for her to say with the support group, like, to not eat after a certain point. And I get it's said, I have to see how accurate it is now, but to not eat after, like, bedtime. But if you have such a restrictive diet, you may need to nourish for real more food by that time, because if you're not eating enough, you're starving yourself. And that's why I have an issue with these health wellness companies, because they always push for toxic diet culture.
Like I said, we played with C and J this morning, and it was amazing. Over 100 of you guys got on live. You measured your heart rate with us, and it was just a lot of fun. Like I said, Colin and Janie are both amazing humans with an amazing mindset. So it's not just a walking session, it's actually a mindset session as well. And you pay big bucks for these types of mindset sessions, and this is completely free to you. So give me a woohoo or a yeah or a party emoji if you were on that Play with C and J class with us this morning. It was amazing, and I know I'm biased because I love them, but it was a lot of fun. Tomorrow we actually have the 17-minute reset with Becca, and so make sure you tune into that. That is going to be on the Zoom link at the bottom right here at the awaken.live/bodycare. So come and get ready for a 17-minute reset. If you guys know her, she's pretty awesome as well. So I'm really excited for this setup that we have this week. We have Becca again on Thursday, and then on Friday we have a beautiful flow with Lauren Dorsey. So make sure you take a screenshot of this calendar. It's also in the Z community, and then get these classes in your phone, schedule them. If you can't make it, the replays will always be available in the Z community. And then I did want to put this up, like I keep saying, take a screenshot, but this is also in the Z community. This is our Awakened Body affirmation. We're going to talk a lot on this call about words and how powerful they are, and thoughts and how powerful they are. So we will start every single Awakened Body Care class with this affirmation. My body is strong, healthy, and overflowing with energy. I am grateful for my body's ability to find its highest state of well-being. And I challenge you, before you even tune into these Awakened Body classes, to say it out loud with like intense belief until you believe it about yourself, and start those classes off every day with this affirmation, because like I said, words have power. And if you can say it, and Colin talked about it on the walk this morning, if you can say it and you can believe it, that is going to have just as big of effect as your workout. So we're really excited about our Awakened Body classes. Tune into those this week. Number 4 would be choose an accountability partner. I don't need to go much into this, but have somebody, and they can be part of the challenge or not, but have someone that you can check in with at the end of the day. And you can go, you know what, I did really good in these areas, and these areas tomorrow I get to do better. And just have someone that's there to support you and there to cheer you on. And if you don't have an accountability partner, post in that Z community saying, I need an accountability partner. I'm sure you will have 10 within the first 30 seconds of that post going live. So use this community, use this family that you have at your disposal. So get that accountability partner today. Commit to getting that accountability partner today. And like I said, hop into the Z community if you don't have someone that you can think of right off the top of your head. Number 5 is taking Zenith 2 times a day with the affirmation. And so I think we all know it's 2 times a day. So it's 3 capsules, 2 times a day.
Why do you need that many affirmations said to you in a day like that? That just screams, I'm in a cult. In my opinion. Why do you need to say affirmations are good. I get the point of affirmations, but why do you gotta take it with that? Like, what's the purpose of doing that? Is it like, will it suddenly be activated the moment you say an affirmation? That shouldn't really be sure, take the Zenith stuff, but why do you have to take it with an affirmation? I feel like that's really dumb in my opinion, but okay.
Preferably before your 2 largest meals. Now, we get a lot of questions like, oh my gosh, I forgot to take it. Should I still take it? Yes, it has a compounding effect. So if you're an hour after, lunch or dinner, and you're like, oh my goodness, I forgot. That's okay. Don't stress about it. Just get it in your system. We actually also have people who are like, I cannot stay on the same schedule with eating. So they just take it at the same time every day. They gauge about when they're going to be eating lunch and when they're going to be eating dinner. Or if breakfast is one of your bigger meals, take it, before breakfast. You can set an alarm in your phone, but don't stress about it. If you forget to take it, just take it when you remember. The one part that I really, really want to tune into, though, is that affirmation. We didn't just stick it on the products for fun. We, once again, know words are super powerful. And that affirmation is on the label of every bottle. I am healthy, I am whole, I am releasing and renewing with Zenith. And what I challenge you to do is, as you take Zenith, close your eyes and just envision those capsules going into your body. And then say it. I am healthy, I am whole, I am releasing and renewing with Zenith. And tell those capsules what to do. Your body is amazing. And words are so powerful. That's why the placebo effect works so well. So take those capsules twice a day, say that affirmation, and just because I want to hit on it a little bit harder, if you guys, I'm sure most of you have seen this, there was a doctor, a scientist, who did a beautiful study on words effects. And you can see that when water words were spoken.
I would love for those examples to be done for people that have other health issues. Do any of those affirmations help keep those things away? I'm really lost. Why do you think those are, like, words, yes, are powerful. They make big impacts. They do. But if you think somehow you're voicing it to your body is somehow going to magically make it better all the time, it's not. It's not. It's not going to do that. Sorry, I can't say, like, go away, cancer, I don't want you. Like, no, that's not how that works.
To water, and then this water was frozen, and you can see those effects. Look what love did. Look what thank you did. And I'm not even going to say that last one because, like I said, words have power. But if words affect water like this, imagine what they're doing to your body when you say or when you think. So when you take Zenith, please, please, please say that affirmation. Put that vibration into your body so that you're making your cells do this. Do the first two instead of the last one. Okay. Number 6 is print off that Awakened Body Daily Checklist. This is in the Z community. It was emailed out as well. We will do another post in the Z community. I think I pinned it to the top, actually. It's in an email. So print this off. This actually has what you need to do every single day. There's that Zenith with affirmation. Move your body for 15 minutes. Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. And Dr. Rumka is going to talk more about that. Do the nourishment plan weekly goals. So at the beginning of each week for 8 weeks, there's goals at the top. And what we did is, like I said, we don't expect you to start off right off the bat being perfect. We're just going to ease you into certain scientifically backed truths. So make sure you accomplish those goals at the beginning of each week. Check in with your accountability partner, and then you'll see that measure progress photo, and engage in social media. Tell people how proud of you are. Let you know, the world know. For 5 days this week, I ate a high protein breakfast and I joined an Awakened Body class. So post that on social, and you're going to see that those measures and progress photos and social happens once a week. Everything else happens every day. So really utilize this checklist. And what's really fun is that at the end of every week in the Z community, we'll do a post, and we want you to put pictures of your checklist. And for everyone who has a certain amount of checks are over, we'll actually do giveaways, including like Awakened Body. I don't know if you guys can see Awakened Body tanks and Awakened gear and all kinds of fun swag. So make sure that you print that checklist off.
Just so you know how much of a cult you're in. Just so you know. Just keep buying into this stuff.
And you're staying accountable to yourself. Okay, I feel like I just talked a whole lot. I'm going to pass it off because I think that a lot of you guys got on to hear from Dr. Imka, Colin, and Jane. Like I said, they're full of amazing information. So I'm going to let Dr. Imka talk to you and go in a deep dive on this amazing and beautiful nourishment plan.
All right, thank you, Ashley. That was amazing. You talk and I get so excited. You make me want to go for a jog.
Let's all go right now.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Yeah, where's my heart rate monitor? This is how I do it. Old school. I'm a little traditional, you guys. I'm from the Midwest, but believe it or not. Questions, are we doing those kind of at the end in a little round? Is that how we're going to do that?
Yeah, let's just wait till the end, and then we can take those questions. I love that.
I've been glancing at them, some of them. I think some will be answered, and a few I think we should address specifically. Well, we're super excited, you guys, and if, you didn't get to read, listen, I have been accused more than once in my career of overwhelming people and giving them too much information. Now, I tried really hard to not do that.
The sad part is, like, the fact that actual doctors join these MLMs in some capacity is so disheartening. Because do I, trust the medical field? Yes. But do I trust what they say when they're joining an MLM? No. Because it makes it seem kind of shaky, in my opinion. The fact that you are willing to jump into an MLM because of, more likely, just the money, not because of your health background and wanting to take care of people. I just feel that's disingenuous. It doesn't feel honest. It feels forced in a way. But that's just my opinion. I wish they would not have actual legit doctors or anything else in these things, because it feels like they're discrediting their own, like, knowledge almost. Like, I'm trying to think of the best word to put together or articulate, but it just seems real sad.
Okay? And to make it simple, but enough that you had, you know, confidence and were empowered with things that people aren't telling you the truth. A lot of you are here because you've just been given bad advice. And so you think you've tried to do something for 5 years or 10 years or 20 years, and you think, I've tried everything. When often you've just tried the same 1 to 3 things in a different fashion. You really didn't try everything because you were just told the same outdated, bad advice and information, you know, sold in many different $49.99 packages, right? And it isn't working. Okay, where we want to start off is like, okay, I used to teach self-development courses for an international organization in my 20s. And it was kind of bizarre, right, to be pretty young in front of a course room of people who be paying thousands of dollars and sometimes be 50, 60, 70. Like, who was I to, you know, talk about their emotions and their inner child? But I did. And what we had to do was get people to being a point. What was really important when I took the course and then to teach was you have to be in a state of learner, right? Getting to where you're open to maybe what you know is incorrect, and maybe there's things you don't know you don't even know. And that can be very disruptive. I do understand. I've been there countless times myself, with relationships, with love, with family, with my self-awareness, and in healthcare, right? And in what we think is true, and what is the principle that guides us. And then we find out something about that information that was done in a false study or was manipulated, or the researcher lied, and the groundwork of 20 years of what we've done is wrong. It was based on a fraud, right? So there's a lot of that goes on. So I do understand for some of you, when you read this, you might have been, oh, this is what I've needed. I feel it. And you might be like, wow, that was a lot. I don't really know what to do with that. Or I hate that part because I don't know how I'm going to eat that many eggs. Okay, right? So I know there might be a lot of those things happening. But that's what the 8 weeks are for, right? We have time in the group. I will try to be as active as I can. I will try to answer questions. I will be in these Zooms. So you have me available as a resource, but please do not message me on Messenger. Okay, I'm just going to beg you to not do that. Please. Because it's already started. Please don't. So what is probably going to be the most disruptive concept for everyone? Because it is the most disruptive concept in the entire United States recommended daily allowances, the US RDA, and all of Western medicine right now, the food pyramid, all of everything, are the concepts about protein. It will be disruptive for a lot of people. Like, wait, on the news, they keep telling me that's bad for me. On the news, they say this. On the paper, Reader's Digest said that. CNN said, okay? There's a lot of noise that comes in that isn't based on any actual science. And I just want to point out to you that America has 70% of the population that's overweight or obese, 55% on psychiatric meds, the highest use of antidepressants of the world, an 88% metabolic disease rate, a 1 in 3 cancer rate on average. We are not doing well. Average lifespan was 76 years. It is now down 3 years. So people are dying 3 years sooner on average, which means people are dying faster and younger. That's not good. That's not the trajectory we should be going. Cardiovascular disease is still the #1 killer after decades and decades and decades of your American heart.
Probably the reason why people may be dying younger is our healthcare system sucks. Just my opinion. Uh, it's ran like a business. We don't have universal healthcare. We aren't given time off in the frequent amount like other countries. We do not have like a socialistic medicine aspect to our country. So it does make it very difficult for people to survive and live without worrying about their health and debt. So there's many factors to that. So you can't really be too surprised in reality because our economy sucks. It sucks. But that's just my opinion. You can let me know what you guys think down below. There's many factors as to why this happens, but it's not just all of the things she listed. Yes, those things can determine that, and like genetics and everything, but like if things are changed within our economy to make healthcare readily available, it does make it difficult. In my opinion, at least.
Association doing what they've been doing, they still can't get a grip on it. Okay? So I just want you to understand, we may have to throw out some things that you've thought, but that everybody knows that's true. But everybody knows. Do they everybody know?
My other question is, why is she wearing sunglasses? Like, that's kind of ironic that she's wearing rose-colored glasses in this video, because a lot of these MLMers live in a world of rose-colored glasses. You can't see the red flags if you're wearing rose-colored glasses. But why are you wearing sunglasses inside? Why are you wearing sunglasses inside?
This sure seems like everybody's really sick and tired and miserable. So I don't know if I want to listen to everybody. Okay? And I want us to be in a state of learner. Like, I also need to be in a state of learner. Like, I've had judgment on walking. I'll tell the truth. And I am opening my mind to the idea that walking is super powerful and it actually is exercise. I've actually called it non-exercise. I've written entire blogs attacking walking. You know, but I'm going to admit I was wrong. Walking is the most underrated, powerful tool to enhance human performance and health as far as a motion activity, right? And it's one of the most underrated movements for weight loss that we have. So I admit it. So you might have to start admitting sometimes where we're wrong, right? Let me say that. These are the two primary references where this new nourishment plan came from, okay? The ProTage study is a protein and aging study looking at aging and longevity and the actual protein requirements. And they did a massive meta-analysis based on some of the best protein researchers in the world saying, wow, these recommendations that are coming out from the government agencies and the American Medical Association are extremely protein deficient. They are causing people to get osteoporosis much sooner. They are causing muscle mass to be gone dramatically. They are the cause of all the falls and stuff like that. You guys, by the time you're over 16, if you fall, you have a 50% chance of never walking again. That's a staggering number. Okay, it's a highly dangerous situation, right? People don't usually fall. Usually a bone actually breaks underneath them and then they go down because they're so weak. So those numbers on the protein are taken from this. It is not a high protein diet. I want to be very clear. It is an adequate protein. It is a minimum protein diet. This is not a diet that somebody, it's not a protein requirement of a bodybuilder or somebody with cancer or wasting away disease. This is a baseline, right? For an adult. That's where these numbers are coming from, all right? Based on this study, you can find the study. I hope we'll reference it later somewhere in the Facebook group for you if you want to look at it. Also combined with, which is kind of the gold standard on leptin, written very long time ago, as you can see, okay? But a lot of you have never even heard about this. I read this book like 2 decades ago, something at this point, Mastering Leptin. And these 5 rules of leptin have been leveraged by everyone, everywhere, in every leptin kind of reset program to date. we may have added some new things, some fancier things, and some things that we've learned along this. It's an outstanding book if you're super into science and you want to know more. But I took the best of both of these things and I combined them. That's where this came from, not from my own magical mind. It came from what the science is, what I've seen work after 25 years of taking care of patients as well. Okay. We can go to the next. Let's see what is. I don't even know what I'm going to talk about exactly. Okay.
That's why we love Dr. Rimka. We just put something on the screen. And she's like, I can talk about that.
Okay. So why are you here? I hope so. If you haven't read yet, there's a lot of hormones. The hormonal system is a beautiful symphony. When I figured out in endocrinology class in graduate school, I took endocrinology in undergrad, but in graduate school, it finally hit me. My mother loved Young and the Restless and As the World Turns. So I watched a lot of soap operas if I was home sick from school or something, or before I was, before kindergarten, right? And the drama and how everybody was all connected with everybody and everybody's sleeping with somebody, and that's the cousin and the sister and the this. And I mean, it's just like, wow, but no, that's their uncle, but I thought it's a stepbrother, but no, but they're this. And I'm like, oh gosh, okay. How can you keep up with these two families where everybody is related? That's kind of like your hormones. Everybody's related and doing things, and it's so...
That just makes it sound a heck of a lot worse, the way she said that about soap operas. Just my opinion now. Considering I don't watch soap operas. I used to have plenty of babysitters that watched them, and I probably glanced at them a couple times, but soap operas are dumb, in my opinion.
As soon as I realized hormones were like soap operas, I just started nailing it. And I saw the drama. I gave them personalities. I would have them, they'd have conversations. I started tutoring all my friends. They're like, how do you remember all this? I'm like, watch. I'm like, this is and I would, anyway, I would make them characters. And so I really started to love it. Leptin and insulin are your two important ones. There's a whole bunch more, please. I'll probably end up talking about cortisol and all kinds of other things eventually. But, we got to keep it simple. 29 pages, not 290. Because that would be a hormone book, 290 pages. Mm-hmm. Leptin is your fat burning hormone. I'm hearing people say this so wrong. Leptin is not your enemy. Leptin is your friend. Leptin says, burn fat, baby. Speed up the metabolism. Let's go. So you have really fit people, like say somebody like a Colin, real lean, who actually often have to do some biohacking to raise their leptin. They're trying to increase that leptin, actually, and why is that? Because your body fat is an organ. That white body fat that you can grab onto and be like, what is this that you've been talking negatively to, telling her she was fat and stupid and ugly, and she's been saving your life, and you haven't been kind and gracious and said thank you, right? So that fat is an organ. It's an endocrine organ. It makes a lot of hormones, a lot of them. Leptin is one of them that it makes, that it's supposed to make. When you have a lot of fat, you make a lot of leptin. So then the body says, oh, you need to burn the fat, boo. You're too fat. So burn fat, okay? It speeds up your metabolism, and it says, I need you to stop eating. Slow it down. So cut the hunger, speed up the metabolism, open the fat stores, and let's go, okay? And that's what it does to bring you back into balance. When you get too skinny, not enough fat, right? Leptin goes really low then. And then it says, we need to make her hungry, like real hungry, and slow the metabolism, stop burning that fat. We can't afford to lose anymore. And by the way, don't let her get pregnant. I'm going to talk about women because I'm probably more women in here than not. Men, extrapolate it to you, okay? So that's what leptin is doing. The problem is when you've gotten bigger and bigger and bigger and fatter and fatter and fatter, and there's reasons why this happened. We'll get into that throughout the 8 weeks a little bit, and definitely in the circadian biology course that you guys have coming to you at convention, which I've already leaked this, Ashley. So
didn't say what?
They know it's coming. I've been leaking. Your husband.
Okay.
Your husband makes me leak everything. No, that sounded. I apologize. That just. I say things, I don't mean it. I just don't. I'm a Midwesterner. I don't know. I went to Catholic school. Anyway, Humor is good for you guys. It's a vagal tone exercise. You should laugh more.
I hope lots of people are laughing. We can't hear you, but I hope you're laughing.
Laughing is good. Laughing makes you skinny. You should laugh more. Okay? For real. You see how much Janie's like? She was laughing today all the time, talking about her hummingbirds and things. Anyway, okay. So where was I? Leptin. Okay. So it got bigger. That's coming in that course. You'll learn more there. And now the leptin's been really high for a super long time. And it's like screaming, Pookie, stop. Screaming in the brain. And then it's like children, like a dog barking, where eventually you just numb out to the noise. So your brain numbed out to the noise. And so now it thinks it's low, right? So body thinks it's low, so it makes you crave and hungry and not be fertile and slows down fat metabolism. Zenith in particular is bringing that down over time. But the 5 rules of leptin are helping to do that as well. It's because you've been breaking those rules for years that your leptin got all out of whack. So we must reverse engineer the problem. That's what we're doing, all right? Insulin is a beautiful hormone your pancreas makes, okay? A couple of little places that says store energy, shuttle energy into cells, okay? The first thing it's gonna always go after, by the way, is alcohol. Okay, it wants to go after alcohol first. If you have any alcohol, it's doing that first. Nothing else is happening until the alcohol's gone. We're not doing anything else. Then we're going to go after glucose, and then we're going to go after fructose, right? Then we're going to go after some fatty acids. Then we're going to go after like deep fat. Okay, it takes a long time before it starts digging into your fat stores. I hope they understood what I just said there a little bit, which means you should reverse engineer what you're putting in your mouth. Okay, but it's only so much energy can go into your cells. And so when it's done, it's like, well, put it somewhere. It puts it in the fat. It says, store the energy for later. Insulin is your fat storage hormone. You want to be thin, you better have a low insulin. You better change everything in your life to keep yourself living an insulin-controlled lifestyle. If you're living an insulin-controlled lifestyle, you will be automatically living an anti-inflammatory, inflammation-controlled lifestyle. Right? They all go together. They fit in so beautifully synergistically. So you kind of worry about a couple things and you're going to cover almost everything. All right. I'll go to the next one. I think we did that okay, right?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. So a big problem in most of the diet culture and what's going on in different plans is going after where we're going to cut. We're going to restrict, right? Basically, they end up starving you. Of the most important thing you end up needing is protein. The most satisfying, right? The thing that gives the word we say is satiety, is a real natural protein in a whole food state will always have a ton of fat with it. Those two together spike a very slow insulin. Insulin stays very low, but you've gotten tremendous energy from the fat. And you've gotten tremendous body repair and building from the protein. Protein in and of itself, the older we get, when your kids are 15, 16, I have a 17-year-old son. He doesn't have to do as much to build muscle because of his hormones. Hormones are super strong in children. They are supposed to be, okay? And they just make muscles go. Their growth hormone is through the roof, testosterone, everything is super high. It packs on, they're growing. It's designed, I need it to grow. Put more bone, put more muscle, put more everything. That's what it does. At a certain point, the body doesn't do that anymore. It says, okay, at about 30, things are going to really start to drop off. And at 40, they drop again. At 50, they drop again. Okay, they just keep it dropping. Things just drop, in case you don't know. Okay, everything.
I don't know. Gravity, Carrie says, yes.
It is what it is, right? So they're cutting this out and telling you to, like, everybody has this idea like, okay, oh, well, you know, I just need to eat salad. And then you can only white knuckle yourself for so many weeks. And then you're also trying to increase your activity, right? And I'm going to walk and I'm going to lift weights and I'm going to do Zumba and I'm going to do Pilates. And like 5 weeks into it, you're going to crack because you're starving, because your appetite now is through the roof. Because you haven't been eating enough food, and the most important one is the protein and the fat, the real thing. And because not eating enough makes you hungry, by the way, and increasing exercise makes you hungry, by the way. So how do you think you're going to do both of those things without eventually breaking and going into Ben and Jerry's? It's going to happen. So we have to find a way that we keep you super satisfied, incredibly nourished. So there's no part of your cells that feel they're starving. Your brain doesn't think it's starving. It's not in fear mode. Your cells are finally starting to get nourished. We're bringing the things, we're finally like unlocking the fat. It's like, oh God, how do I do it? Oh, okay, I open a door a little bit. And then it sneaks out a little bit of fat occasionally because you're not metabolically flexible right now. If you're here trying to lose weight,
I am very sorry if you are as bored as I am hearing her talk. Like, I'm not saying, like, it's not possibly very good knowledge, but it is late, and I am, like, now getting tired, and I thought I was going to try to batch record a lot more than I have, but I'm trying to get as much done as I can. She's just taking too far long. I need to get to these other people.
No, you're not. All right? So I'm combining the ProTage study with the leptin mastering reset rules, and it all centers around this because it's keeping insulin low and it's giving you everything you need. Every essential nutrient is in the animal protein. Every one on Earth. Period. That's a fact. Okay? So there's lots of things they'll say this is essential. No, they aren't. You need protein, fat, and a few things, zinc, B vitamins, choline, it's all in there. So you don't have to be using 18 books and calculators you don't need to worry about all that tracking, right? If we get this in you, we're going to cover everything else. We'll go to the next one. All right, these are really important. And we're going to try to go very slowly. Right? So the plan was written in such a way, like I just made assumptions. Let me assume you're eating 5-6 times a day. Let me assume we're leptin resistant. Like let's, and we're going to slowly help you graduate this. So some of you may not break all of these rules right now. Okay. That's great. Awesome. You're ahead of the game. And some of you are breaking all of them. The most important one, no, hands down, is not eating after dinner.
Am I wrong in thinking that she just said we want you to be satiated, but this whole list looks like a whole lot of restriction? It doesn't seem like it's actually being as inclusive and helpful as she is implying it to be, because for me, never eating after dinner, eat 3 meals a day spaced 4 to 6 hours apart. Do not eat large meals. Eat a high protein breakfast. Reduce the number of carbohydrates. All those things sound exactly the same as any other toxic diet culture MLM. Doesn't sound any different. Where is the healthy aspect to fats and that she just said? It doesn't look any different. It looks the same. This is my problem with these MLMs, in my opinion, because they constantly want to say they're different. How are you different? You just said do not eat large meals. Having 1 to 2 large meals is good for people sometimes, and it's okay to do. I'm not sure why you're restricting them to not having any large meals. And you're saying eat 3 meals a day spaced 4 to 6 hours apart. How far apart do you plan on thinking they're going to eat? That's a long time. And like, reduce the number of carbohydrates, which usually includes like breads, which can turn into sugar. But I'm just not liking this at all. Not liking this at all.
Right. And it's a huge sign of leptin resistance and leptin derangement when you're wanting to eat after dinner, late night cravings, any kind of craving really is leptin, but late night stuff like can't fall asleep. Oh, I just want something. That's a massive sign. You don't need to get your blood labs drawn, guys, if that's what's going on. I'll just tell you right now, if you're overweight and that happens, I already know. I could guess your labs. All right. That's the most important one. We want you to start. Please know you probably won't be 100%. This is not striving for perfection, as I posted it earlier. This is about you taking a 1% movement every single day and staying consistent and finding a pattern and a way of life that is the rest of your life. You've got to live with this. You got to live with your body, and you got to live with your food choices and your movement choices. And, you know, I don't want you to start picking up some activity you absolutely despise. Why? Find fun things, play. This should be fun. Your life should be full of more joy. Joyful people are always healthier. And I don't care if you're miserable today, pretend to be joyful. Start practicing. Okay? So that's the one we want you to focus on, like for this week is the big one. Really try to work on that. Now, the way to get there is to be eating enough throughout the day. And many of you will say, God, I'm not used to eating this much. I know, it's fine. Just try. Don't make yourself sick. Don't hurt yourself, because you're taking Zenith, and it is an appetite, suppressant. It's going to make you feel full. That's good. That's fine. Just do the best you can. We're going to work on it. You're typically going to end up eating 3 meals. You know, people who are really healthy can be at 2. It's fine, but we're just keeping it basic for this. You're not going to eat really large meals. The reason people, believe it or not, in one meal, if people who just eat OMAD 1 meal a day, like for years, they can become leptin resistant because of just that activity. An oversized meal creates a massive explosion of hormones, and you can become leptin resistant, and the science proves it. The high protein breakfast, like if you can just focus on, that's what breakfast is. Don't eat, in an ideal situation, don't eat any other carbs and sugar at that time, because then you're setting up the low insulin for the whole day, speeding up your metabolism. The body is designed for leptin to be highest around noon. That's really designed for the biggest meal of the day. So people used to have like just protein. They would do like protein and coffee at like 6 in the morning, and then they'd go out to the farms and they would do the crop things or whatever, milk the cows, and they'd come in about noon and eat a massive meal. And then dinner would be a very small thing around 4 or 5 o'clock. It wasn't the big meal was always lunch, and your physiology actually says that's what you're supposed to do. Now, again, we're not striving for perfection. I'm just telling you how your body is designed, what the natural rhythms want to do. And then we're going to just look at keeping the carbohydrates down, because those are going to keep the insulin the highest. And so we have a glycemic index at the end, very general one, just kind of basic to give you an idea so you can think, oh, that's what that does. And sometimes it's shocking when you look things up. Like the idea that I'm not telling you to eat a Snickers candy bar, but a Snickers candy bar is a less blood sugar rush insulin response than 2 pieces of whole wheat bread. Like you wouldn't think that, but actually that's a fact.
Everyone runs out and eats Snickers bars instead.
That was my pregnancy. That was my pregnant craving. I do like a Snickers. I ain't gonna lie.
Dr. Runka said, eat a Snickers.
Yeah, right? That is not what Dr. Runka said. However, I think it's better for you probably than 2 pieces of whole wheat bread. I mean, I'm just gonna say, except for those peanuts, but that's another story. All right, are we cool on that?
Hey, Dr. Rimka, could you hit on it a little bit? Can you hit on intermittent fasting? We have a lot of people who are doing that, and you do discuss how actually for them it might be better to start doing those 3 meals a day. To make sure they're not eating.
A lot of people are under eating. So it depends. You know, here we have the camp, we have the overeat. You are overeating, snacking too much, eating late at night, and then we have the people who've been eating only once or twice and have been starving themselves. They're under eating. Now I can't tell through like voodoo on a screen which one you are, right? But there end up these 1 meal a day. It's often women. They're waking up too early. They're only eating once. They're like living on coffee and cortisol and adrenaline and just nervous energy. And their metabolisms have had to shut down because their brain thinks they're in a life or death state all the time. You will never lose weight or heal if your brain is in fear. It will not happen. Everything you don't learn in that state. It's impossible. That's not how neurology works. So typically, again, you have to, I'm a 25-year long-term extended water faster. Okay. I've done many 10, 15-day fasts in my life over 25 years, but I never start people doing that to lose weight. That is a very specific protocol for a very specific reason. Most women do well eating in an 8 to 12 hour window, which means like, I don't even consider that fasting. But people are calling that intermittent fasting. Like not eating 12 hours is not fasting, but okay.
That's damaging and toxic to think that not eating for 12 hours is a good, okay thing and not considered intermittent fasting. No, don't do that. You need to eat. I myself work on eating more consistently throughout the day because I have to. Because if I don't, I realize I don't have 3 meals a day, and I need to get 3 meals in, or at least snack throughout. So I try to get food, like meal food and snack food in between, because I can't not eat. I need to eat. So for her to say that she doesn't consider what she does not damaging and not part of toxic diet culture is scary. This is very scary in my opinion.
Call it that. 50s to the 60s, the average amount of meals per day were 2, and the average amount of fasting was 16 hours. That was normal. Nobody put a stupid scientific name on it. That was just called normal life, and everybody was thin. Okay? So, just some of you will need to add more food in. And if you're only going to eat 2 meals a day, without a doubt, the science is very clear. It should be breakfast and lunch. That's what you should do if you're trying to lose. If you're eating lunch and dinner and you're overweight, maybe just change the timing. Timing matters more than anything. If you can follow the 24 hours, like you should never eat when it's dark. Try that. That's not one of these rules, but it's like a new leptin rule, because now we understand leptin's controlled by light. So yes, you can do some intermittent fasting. I think you need to just some of you are maybe doing too much of it. So if you're eating, men can be in the 6 to 10 hour window, and women 8 to 12 kind of a thing. And please, if you are ovulating and stuff, please know if you have periods, that is going to change week by week. Be kind and gentle and generous with yourself. You will be hungrier before your period. You will want carbs. Eat them. Okay? Do not belittle yourself. Do not degrade yourself. You'll be tired. You won't want to work out. There's no punishment. That's what your body is trying to do. It's doing it for a reason. Okay? But you just don't eat like cake.
Or a Snickers bar.
Yeah, you have a sweet potato or something, it's like, make a better choice. Okay? So did that answer it enough?
Yep, I think you did it beautifully.
I think you need to be careful don't be doing these 4 hours. Let me say it like this again. If you've been doing something and it's not working for you, the question was, is it working for you? If it's working for you, keep doing it. But if you're here, you're telling me I'm overweight. So I'm going to suggest something you're doing is not working. So we should change it. I'm sure Colin has had plenty of those clients where you increase their food and they're stunned that they lose 5 pounds that week. They're like, how did I just lose weight by 8? I'm like, because you're starving and we had to increase your metabolism. I had to turn the engine back on. So it's a thing for some people, okay? A lot of women undereat.
Dr. Rimke, do you want to touch on the 1 gram of protein per ideal body weight on here?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so the easy calculation, you can read that ProTage study and you can go through all this 0.8 gram a kilogram, blah, 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 blah. You can knock yourself out. Have fun with it. On average, right in the middle of the road is to basically say, okay, an easy calculation, middle of the road is I want to be 135 pounds. If I'm 180 pounds today, but I want to be 130 pounds?
Yeah.
I need to eat like a 130-pound person, which would be ideally to maintain high bone density and high skeletal muscle mass, and low fat would be to eat 130 grams of protein. Now, that is not weight. That is for what the ounces are. So like a 4-ounce piece of ribeye is like 35, 40 grams of protein, to give you an idea. And so he's like, well, how much then do I need to eat to hit 130? 1 egg is only 6 grams of protein, right? You take 6 cups of quinoa to get to the same amount as 4 ounces of steak, for example, right? So you have to say, well, how much do I need to eat? It's not a weight measurement. And certain things are just higher in protein. Dairy counts. I don't want that to be the center of your eating, though, of course.
Before she gets this, if anyone finds it weird that they have on here, eliminate screen distractions. What do you guys feel that means? Because for me, that seems like a cult tactic for it could be people talking to you or advising you, or maybe they're talking about making sure you don't get caught up in like how people look, which is funny because you're gonna look at them anyway from a page that they have on Facebook. But I'm wondering what you guys think for the eliminate screen distractions, because that just sounds so messed up in my opinion. And and I can kind of understand removing the word diet, but at the same time, why? But let's keep listening.
Is that enough, Colin, you think, that I explained it? Do I need to say anything else? Oh, yeah, it was good. Okay, sorry. So that's where that number came from, and that's what we're shooting for. So that plan is based on about a 1,500 calorie-ish. Now, if you're a man, you need to go up a little bit more. If you're a very small woman, you might have to be at 12 or 1,300, right? So, but that way, the grams of protein kind of automatically let everybody adjust it appropriate to their size. It's instantly like, that's your tool. Like, well, like this one needs to eat 130. This one needs to eat 175 grams. This one needs to eat 200. Like, it's very different. And so it automatically, the calories and energy go with that automatically. You don't have to worry about macros and all that right now. It's too complicated and too stressful, honestly. And the science backs this recommendation. You will find the majority of functional medicine doctors in the field. This is the exact recommendation everyone's making. Is that good?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm laughing because Diana, I'm the same. She's like, I will do whatever Dr. Rimka says. Like, I'm the same robot. I will do whatever Dr.
And we're going to start you slow, because many of you, if you haven't been eating properly, gut microbiome change, it changes for what you eat, right? So we'll slowly, stomach acid levels will change. If you have a congested fatty liver, and I bet 90% of you in here do, the liver sends a deranged signal to the stomach, and the stomach acid is poor, and then the pancreas, the three of them work together. And so they have to slowly start to heal, and you stop poisoning your body. It's amazing how it starts to clean itself. All right?
Speaking of liver, let's hit on that first weight loss. This is going to be fun for everybody.
It just is what it is. The number one problem for most people in the weight loss journey is alcohol. It is a toxic poison to the liver, to the brain, to every part of your body. You stop fat burning for at least 24 to 48 hours. Typically after this, your growth hormone will go down, your testosterone will go down, estrogen will go up. It always it causes anxiety. It's what it does. It kills a lot of brain cells. There's nothing beneficial about it. The people who are cherry picking data to say, oh, a glass of red wine or resveratrol, they just want to drink. That's it. Well, just tell the truth. I mean, you can have your wine. Just tell the truth. Stop lying to yourself, okay? At least you know what you're doing, and then you can make decisions to counteract that and not act like you didn't understand what happened, okay? So if you can, that's a big one, okay? And if you're going to drink it, I'd rather you drink it at lunchtime than dinner. I mean, I'm just saying.
Day drink. Now,
oh gosh, right? Day drinking and Snickers. Okay, yeah, hashtag she's nuts. Okay, so then a few other things. A short walk, just 10 minutes after a meal, brings blood sugar and insulin down tremendously. I've seen people as much as 30, 40 points will drop. So if they're testing, little blood sugar or have a continuous glucose monitor, it's unbelievable what you can do with a simple, and that's not fast paced or anything. So after every meal, if you just did that, you would see tremendous change. Tremendous, right? Eating in front of a screen, any kind of screen, any type of device, people go out of their bodies, they dissociate, and they overeat. This is very well known. Please don't let your children eat in front of screens. Please stop it. Please sit down with each other. Please be present. You will naturally eat less, and you'll eat slower, and you'll stop, and you'll be more satisfied. Okay. The protein for breakfast is a big one. Food order. This is one I've used for decades, and it's worked on everybody. Simple. Sometimes I don't even do anything except this. I say, okay, look, I get this is tough. All you do is eat all the protein on your plate first, then eat all the carbohydrates, then eat all the sugars. And they're like, what? I'm like, well, the sugars are alcohol and fruit and dessert, and carbs are like, and potatoes and rice, grains. Okay. And a carb is like a vegetable, a leafy green, low glycemic carrots, spinach, broccoli, stuff like that. Okay. And the protein would be an animal protein. Back to protein real quick. By protein, we mean a complete protein. You can food combine vegetarian things and make a complete protein, but it does take some effort. Okay. Every animal protein is automatically complete, meaning it has all of the essential amino acids. It is a complete protein. Your body has everything it needs. It doesn't need to do magic and put things together in a strange way. Collagen does not count as protein. You must count those calories, track what you're doing, but it is an incomplete protein. It's very important for joints and methylation, but it is not building any muscle. We're trying to build muscle. Okay. I think that was it. And look, the word diet, the first three, why do you want to die? I don't get it.
How come I've never even considered that?
Yeah.
That's my.
I'm not looking to die. Okay. So let's move on from that idea. You're not doing that. This is the rest of your life. So you'll find the foods and the plan and things that work for you, right? Okay, are you good? Colin, am I good? Did I say anything?
Yeah, you nailed
I'll
it.
let Colin be my guy. He's like, say this, say that. Okay, hydration gets a little tricky. Water. Everybody gets like, whatever. Main thing you need to know, healthy, super healthy. So I'll say this, caveat. Most of the stuff we know about studying humans are from unhealthy people. We don't study healthy people. We're not getting these indigenous cultures very much in studying their labs and studying their numbers and studying what they're doing. We have some old anthropological studies, people, explore and watch what they do. I'm like, wow, we have a little bit of that, but we don't, everything we look at are based on sick people living very unnatural lives. So there's a lot of questioning if any of that's even that valid, to be honest. Now, hydration, super healthy, fit people that are very metabolically flexible.
She just says a whole lot of stuff that I just don't understand. She just seems a little off her rocker, in my opinion. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm being too harsh, but in my opinion, she seems a little off her rocker. A little bit. You let me know what you think.
They burn a lot of fat. They make a lot of water naturally. That's nobody here, right? Most of us, you're here, you're not metabolically flexible. So your cells inside are dehydrated and the fluid outside is probably dehydrated. Your blood is 90% water, for example. So the water you drink will go into like the blood and it'll go into the lymph and it'll lubricate joints, but it is not getting inside the cells. That's a little bit different. That's what we're going to do with your sleep and with what you're eating to try and get that to happen. You must put a little bit of salt or electrolytes inside this water.
And please, not your table salt. Can you tell me what kind of salt?
So the problem with salt, and Danielle and I have been back and forth, we're going to eventually have to come up with a list for you guys of some approved good products and actual safe, non-counterfeit proof resources. And I'm going to talk on that as well briefly. So like Kalima is a brand of sea salt. Redmond's is a salt. There's only a few. Now, the problem with salt right now is the 90% of them have microplastics in them. I am sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but we have poisoned our environment so much that toxins, little balls of plastic are in the salt. Okay. So you really need to be careful with the salt you buy. Kalima and Redmond's are two good brands. There's a few more I can
yes, Jamie, there we go.
We'll list some posts for you to see that. But the majority, it could be a little pinch. Now, if you wanted something delicious, Redmond makes a electrolyte called Relight. I like Cellcore's CT Minerals. Element, LMNT is a delicious little packet. Well, they have a little bit of stevia, a little bit of flavoring, but if you're like getting bored, you might be like, this is the most delicious, like Gatorade-y thing with no sugar, right? So it's salty, magnesium, sodium, potassium. And if you're working out and sweating, you need even more. So if you just put a little bit of salt though in your water and you stir it like a vortex, you kind of mimic it coming up out of the earth like spring water. Please let the water, I get nervous with people overhydrating. Don't be going for this gallon of a day nonsense. You should just be thirsty or not thirsty. However, your hormones are deranged and you're not getting good things. The science is a little bit confusing on this because again, you're studying sick people. But I'm going to go with a general consensus. Let's go with drinking like 8 ounces of water for every hour.
And this is my problem when doctors come on into MLMs, because I'm like, I feel, in my opinion, that she is off her rocker. I just can't get it out of my head for some reason. I feel like it's not as much of a healthy doctor to trust anymore, in my opinion, but I could be wrong.
That you're awake, let's go for somewhere in the 8 to 10 hour range. So it's like somewhere like 8 to 10 glasses of 8 ounces of water. And most of that's because most of you will be super dehydrated. Put a little bit of salt in it. Plus, Zenith requires you drinking more water. So that's a good gauge for most people in here versus that. And there's another calculation on 4% of your body mass. I don't want to get into too much science on that. Is that good?
That's perfect.
I just want that water clean, you guys. If you're drinking tap water, it's got fluoride, chlorine, benzodiazepine, birth control pills, and a whole bunch of other problems. So we can talk about that, and I can...
So, again, with the water, I comment again in this because they mention it like, you need this type of water. It sounds like you're just trying to advertise for Kangen, because that sounds exactly like a Kangen rep type of thing. Just my opinion. You guys let me know. Just sounds like a Kangen rep.
You know, talk to Danielle about, here's a couple really good water filters, or you can get spring water. You know, you just be careful. That's my concern with water. Yeah.
Right. Perfect. And I think we've hit on this quite a bit, the high protein breakfast, not eating after dinner. I'm just going to, once again, the nourishment plan has weekly goals. So here's a snippet, and here's the goals for week 1. It kind of goes over it. So just starting off this week with focusing on your breakfast. If you're like, oh my gosh, that's so much protein, like Dr. Rimka said, it's not high protein, it's adequate protein, but we just haven't been taught this stuff.
Yeah.
So
but you start slowly, right? If you're not used to eating breakfast, and then for you, that might be, you know, 2 sausages. It might be 2 ounces of steak, right? Like, it might be 2 eggs. Like, I'm okay with that. If you're like, I haven't had breakfast in 5 years. I'm like, okay, that's okay. Let's start something. We're going to wake up the bacteria in your gut and your brain to be like, oh, it's morning. This is what we do. Yes. This is what you do. Let me give the cortisol something to do with itself. Like, let's give it the energy, right? So you do that, right? You see, we're going to slowly build. It's 8 weeks, you guys. Okay, but this is where we want to start, because I'm trying to stop that late night eating. And there's all these other things, community, accountability, and stuff.
Perfect. So you guys just got a bunch of truth, a bunch of knowledge. Like I said, most people pay big bucks for this. So yes, please don't slip into Dr. Rimka's DMs, her messages. She, as you can tell, she's willing to get on these calls and give you guys so much information. But please don't go to her. She's not going to be able to answer everybody's.
And you cost me money. You're not helping me, because I have to pay 2 people to deal with you. It's like it's difficult. I'm like, please stop. You're
not going to get to Dr. Rimka herself. Sorry.
You might, but I mean, it's still, I'm going to be like, really? Anyway, let me say one thing, and I apologize for taking so long. This is something that concerns me. And I spoke with Danielle about it, and, you know, I'm like, I don't know exactly how to approach it, but I want to say this, and we're going to come up with a solution we don't have in a fair, egalitarian way. As a clinician for 20-something years, I have been deeply concerned about where people buy their supplements.
All right, so this is only half of the video of the Awakened, so I will do the other half for either Wednesday or next week. So I hope you guys enjoy. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you soon. Bye.